Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. My colleague poses some very interesting questions, and I suppose, Leanne Dilzell has posed many interesting questions over the debate on this bill, the committee stage of this bill. Unfortunately, Mr. Chair, none of them have been answered.
Oh no, the odd one has.
Well, by us,
no,
though.
Occasionally the member, to be fair, has.
Oh, no, he did. That's right. He did give up. He did speak. So I apologise, Mr. Foss, if I've. But no, he hasn't answered this question, and he hasn't answered the questions for a while. So what I might do is I might try and answer this question for you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I could be wrong. But I'm going to give it my best shot, because it's a very important question, Mr. Chair. And Westpac New Zealand Limited is an incorporated bank and became a registered bank in 2006, and it did this in order to comply with the Reserve Bank of New Zealand's local incorporation policy. It is a branch, there's no doubt about that, but it is also an incorporated bank in its own right.
Yeah, no, I know that.
Yeah, so it would surprise me if it didn't come under the guise of the bill well, as it says in here.
No, but we don't know in the bill whether it's a qualifying financial entity.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you're right. But the incorporation policy, what it does is it provides, it says that systematically important banks should be incorporated in New Zealand. Now, we talked about this before. What is a systematically important bank? That's a bank that has liabilities other than those to related parties of over $15 billion.
That's right.
And I would assume if an organisation of that size was not a, what did you call them again? Qualifying financial entity.
That's under the financial advisors legislation.
Yeah, it would surprise me, but I could be wrong. In fact, you're right, I don't know that. And so to say that I was going to answer that was a little bit I think you probably should, actually, because it's not much to ask, is it? It wouldn't take long. We're not asking for a 10-minute call. We're only asking for a 5-minute call. If I could move to clause 27 on page 22. We talk about amendments to the Westpac New Zealand Act 2006. Now, what it says there in clause 27 sub 2, section 19.4 is amended by omitting, quote, DB 23 of the Income Tax Act 2004 and substituting DB 31 of the Income Tax 2007. Now, well, this is the question I want to know. And I would have thought in a bill of this size, and it's not a large bill, Mr. Chair. I mean, you've got to admit, it's compared to some of the bills that come before the Finance and Expenditure Select Committee. In fact, this is about a third of the size of a SUP that we're looking at the moment. So it's not a big bill. That perhaps, just for clarity, because there were people who may take a look at this and just wonder what it's about, it could have actually been listed there, because it actually means nothing, to tell the truth, Mr. Chair. It means nothing. And we were talking about this in FEC today, around how tax legislation should actually be clear. It has to be easy to use. It has to be clear, so you're not running around looking for a whole lot of different acts. Again, we look at 27.3, section 19.2, amendment to the Westpac Act, is amended by omitting adjusted tax value. Now, it would have been good if it could have just fleshed that out a little bit. I don't think there would have been any mischief there. It just would have made it a little bit easier. The legislation would have been a little clearer. At 27 sub 4, subsection 2, it says applies with effect of the 31st of March 2008. Now, that is actually retrospective legislation on a banking bill, Mr. Chair. And I think it would have been good again. Like I said, there's no mischief here at all. I mean, I'm not trying to be smart. There's no attempt to deceive anyone or anything like that. But I think it would have been good in bills like this, which are quite important bills, if they'd actually set out what did come into effect from the 31st of March 2008, because that was 2 years after the original Westpac New Zealand bill was passed, and obviously it's 3 years before this bill was passed. And again, subsection 3 applies in effect from 13th of September 2006, obviously just after the original Westpac bill was passed. Again, it would have been nice just to put it down, just to clarify it and been a little bit clearer on what the legislation actually meant, because, like I said, clause 27, apart from the title, which says Amendments to Westpac New Zealand Act 2006, it actually means nothing. It means nothing. In fact, if you look at this, if you really want to know what this means, you've got to go and grab the Income Tax Act, you've got to go and get the original Westpac Act 2006, and that just takes time. It wouldn't have been long at all, Mr. Chair. Coming back to 26, banking legislation continues to apply. Well, this makes a lot of sense. We would hope, and as has been the case, that this Act did not change Westpac's status with regard to any other Act out there governing the banking sector. And of course, this is this has been clarified in this Act, so nothing in this Act.
Just a couple
Thank you very much. There are a couple of outstanding questions, Mr Chair. I'm just hoping the member will take it.
All right. Honourable Shane Jones.